A myth that West Bengal is casteless. So I thought that it's important that I try to bust the myth, because having grown up there and knowing that how caste is operative in West Bengal, I think I should talk about it. And it was in 2016, after the institutional murder of Rohit Vemula, I started talking about the caste atrocities in West Bengal. यहाँ पे जितने भी वरिष्ठ व्यक्ति बैठे हैं, सबको मेरा प्रणाम, फूल जोहार. I am the only person, I think, who has come from a state which is far off, which is considered to be one of the progressive states, considering the fact that there were 3.5 decades of left front ruling over the state. And what I will do is I'll try to bust the myth. There's an idea that there's no violation of Forest Rights Act in West Bengal. That's not the case. I'll just speak a little bit about it. And I'll also talk about my experience in JNU as an Adivasi researcher. I did my master's, MPhil and PhD from CHS. And I remember after my master's, I wanted to work on the Vishnupur Garana of classical music, which is the only Garana of Bengal. And this Garana was started off by the Rajas of Vishnupur away from the patronage of the Mughal court. And so I thought a social history of this Garana would be an important contribution to music history had not come up by then. But the chairperson of the center told me, being a tribal, you want to work in high culture, you're not even an insider. I was so shocked. I talked to a few professors and they said it's difficult and you not have a guide. It's difficult to find somebody who can guide you on cultural affairs. So I left that and I went on to work with gender. I am talking about this because after my work, thankfully, I worked with Professor Tanika Sarkar. Well, there was no discrimination there, but after I was over with my work, I thought I should, the fact that there's a myth that West Bengal is casteless. So I thought that it's important that I try to bust the myth, because having grown up there and knowing that how caste is operative in West Bengal, I think I should talk about it. And it was in 2016, after the institutional murder of Rohit Vemula, I started talking about the caste atrocities in West Bengal. And then there were a lot of repercussions. I started writing in a very popular daily there. It's called Anandabajaya Putrika, the poster editorial pieces, and there was a lot of attack. And I'm sure last year, many of you might have heard about it. There was, everybody was airing their opinion on whether there should be an exam during the pandemic, and that was just the beginning. That was September, and the UGC had given a guideline. And it so happened, I don't even know who this girl is. She was studying in a college. She came up and saying that how dare I speak about the importance of education, because I am a quota candidate, and how would I know the value of a year in a student's life. And I was not saying that there shouldn't be no exam. I was talking about some of the way in which you can assess the students, because internals had already taken place. Anyway, things got out of hand, and there were about 1,900 trolls speaking about my background, my parents, and everybody, as trolls happen. And things went really bad. Like all my lectures on YouTube, there were a whole lot of dislikes. And okay, then I had to file a SCST Atrocities Act because this girl came online, gave a 9 minutes video and said that she's going to take her life, and where is she supposed to take her life, before my university or the college that she belongs to. And that is when I thought enough is enough. I'll have to put my foot down, because if something happens, I'll be held responsible. So I had to file a case, and I have my hearing on 7th once again, and dates come and dates go, and it's me who's harassed all the way because I have to appear on the court. It's been more than a year. Now, why is it that the fact that there's socio-economic and cultural hegemony of the Bhadralok, the upper caste Bhadralok in West Bengal, and they actually determine the political and academic discourse there, has given rise to the idea that West Bengal is exceptional, that it's a very progressive, liberated state, but for us people who belong to this state, we know how things are, how dismissal, oppression, harassment, violation of dignity, humiliation is an everyday affair in West Bengal if you belong to certain communities. Only that there are no gory caste wars, and that is why structural and symbolic violence in West Bengal doesn't become very prominent, and you have the civility that has been talked about, and the Bhadralok politeness which overshadows the sort of violence that goes on, the sort of social exclusion when one enters any institutional space. And I'll, before I go on to the larger scene, I'll talk about my experience. I remember I went back from the JNU and I had applied for a university a bit off from Calcutta, and I had applied for a unreserved post, and I got selected. The person who came second is instantly a Brahmin, and one of his Brahmin professors of Calcutta University, where he studied, said Maroona Murmu in a reserved post is fine, Maroona Murmu in an open post is not acceptable. And he made it a point not to visit the university so long as I was there. I had gone, then I shifted to Jadavpur University, and once it so happened that I had to get clearance, and I went to the departmental meeting and I saw him happily sitting out there. He started attending the meetings there. Jadavpur, thought to be a very progressive space, hasn't been very progressive so far as teachers are concerned, because I've seen my colleagues looking into certain surnames, and they become absolutely certain that these are people who cannot be meritorious. The surname, reading of the surnames is enough. It has been reported to me, I'll not be able to confirm. Some of the students said that they have nothing to learn from me because I look like an African. I've also heard that some students opine that Dalits and Adivasis should have separate crematorial grounds because of the concept of Puritan pollution. And if you look at statistics, I'll talk about education itself. There was an All India survey on higher education, which came out in 2016, and it was said that of all the college and university professors in West Bengal, only 6.16% belong to scheduled caste, and 0.91% belong to scheduled tribes. So that's progressive West Bengal for you. And I shall talk about the violation of PESA and FRA, moving on from personal experience. Purulia pump storage plant had been started in the hilly areas of Ayodhya Hill, belonging to the northeastern part of Chotanagpur Plateau. And this area is significant for the Santhal population in West Bengal. This area also has excavation sites which have yielded rich outcrops of monoliths which take back the civilization of Bengal. quite earlier than we think. Now, in 2006 and 7, the Japan International Cooperation Agency invested in West Bengal, and a pact was signed with the government of West Bengal, headed by the then Chief Minister of West Bengal, Buddhadev Bhattacharya, the CPIM Supremo. And it so happened that this continued, and the second project, the first one is completed on the Bamni River. The second one is coming up, and there's a lot of resistance out there because there's the Turga project has engulfed 292 hectares of land, out of which 234 hectares is forest land. There's an impact on biodiversity. This area, according to the website of West Bengal government, says that it has 9 species of amphibian, 27 species of fish, 9 species of mollusk. It has madras tree, which is absolutely not found in West Bengal. Then it has elephants as well. There is a resistance movement going on. Yeah, so there's a resistance movement going on, and last that I know, that people had come out on the streets and they were arrested. The leaders, 5 of the leaders who were arranging this, they were arrested on violation of the pandemic. What act is it called? Disability. Yeah, the act that is there saying that you cannot violate it. And the other one is, if that was the left front government, now what is being proposed is the Devchi Panchami coal mine at Mohammad Bazar in Birbhum that is supposed to come up, and it's called, it is considered that it is the second largest coal mine, has 2.1 billion tons of coal, and there's an agreement between the central government and the state government owned West Bengal Power Development Corporation. There's a lot of resistance. People, the Adivasis there, they are saying that the terms were not made very clear. And I'll just read out, before I end, I'll just read out the statement of Khokon Madi, who's the convener of Project Affected Peoples Association, an environmental organization. He says that the area is already experiencing environmental pollution from dust caused by mostly illegal stone quarries and crushers. The coal mining is going to increase the problem. The stone mining has affected agriculture as well as the health of Adivasis in the area during the summers. No water is available. There are respiratory diseases, and if this stone chips and all start being excavated, then be further problem. So that is how West Bengal is. It remains the same under the left front government and the new government which is in power. Thank you so much for listening to me with such patience. Thank you.
Kindly like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel.